So certain of someone's love that you started taking it for granted? You push, you test, you see how far you can go, always believing they'll be there to catch you. That's the story of Clara, a woman who had it all. A loving husband, a comfortable life, and the unwavering devotion of a man named Liam. She thought his love was an endless well she could draw from no matter what she did. She thought he'd chase her forever. But she was about to learn a devastating lesson. Even the deepest wells can run dry. Liam wasn't just a husband. He was Clara's anchor. He was the quiet, steady force in her whirlwind life. While she chased social events and the validation of her friends, Liam was at home, literally building their future. He'd spend his weekends fixing the fence, planting a garden, and making their house a home. He remembered her favorite coffee, warmed up her car on cold mornings, and listened patiently as she recounted office gossip, even when his eyes were heavy with sleep. To her friends, he was good old Liam, reliable, and maybe a little boring. To Clara, he was a guarantee. A safety net she never thought she'd need, but one she always knew was there. Their relationship hadn't always been this one-sided. In the beginning, their love was a vibrant, fiery dance. They were inseparable, finishing each other's sentences and dreaming of a future filled with laughter and adventure. But as the years went by, a subtle shift occurred. Comfort settled in, and with it, a dangerous sense of entitlement for Clara. His constant affection wasn't a gift anymore. It was an expectation. His sacrifices weren't gestures of love. They were just what Liam did. She stopped seeing the man and only saw the role he played in her life. The steadfast provider, the eternal admirer. She was the sun, and he was just a planet caught in her orbit. Or so she thought. The first crack in their foundation appeared in the form of a man named Julian. He was everything Liam wasn't. He was a slick, charming colleague with a quick wit, and an even quicker smile. He didn't talk about garden soil or leaky faucets. He talked about art galleries, spontaneous trips to Paris, and the thrill of living in the moment. He made Clara feel exciting, desired, and seen in a way she hadn't felt in years. He wasn't offering stability. He was offering a spark, an escape from the comfortable routine she had secretly started to resent. It began with innocent flirtations over the office coffee machine. Then came the lingering glances in meetings, the accidental brushes in the hallway, and the late-night texts that were just work-related. Clara knew it was a dangerous game, but she told herself it was harmless. She loved Liam, of course. This was just a bit of fun, a little ego boost. She rationalized that Liam was so secure in their love that he'd never suspect a thing. She could have her cake and eat it too. Julian was the excitement, and Liam was the home she'd always return to. The harmless fun escalated quickly. A casual after-work drink turned into a clandestine dinner. A shared joke turned into a shared secret. Clara found herself living a double life, meticulously managing two different worlds. At home, she was the dutiful wife, asking Liam about his day while secretly buzzing from a text from Julian. She became an expert at deception, deleting call logs and creating elaborate stories to explain her late nights. A part of her felt a pang of guilt, but it was quickly silenced by the intoxicating thrill of her secret affair. She felt alive, desired, and completely in control. One evening, Clara came home late, the scent of Julian's expensive cologne still clinging to her clothes. Liam was waiting up for her, as he always did. He had made her favorite dinner, which was now cold on the stove. "Long day at work?" he asked, his voice gentle, but with an edge she'd never heard before. "Yeah, just slammed with that new project," she lied smoothly, avoiding his gaze. He didn't press. He just looked at her, really looked at her, and for a split second Clara felt a chill run down her spine. In his eyes, she didn't see adoration. She saw a deep, profound sadness. But she brushed it off. It was probably just stress from his own job. The breaking point wasn't a dramatic confrontation or a tearful confession. It was something far quieter and more devastating. It was a Tuesday morning, just like any other. Clara woke up to find the other side of the bed empty and cold. That wasn't unusual. Liam often got up early for work. She went downstairs, expecting to find coffee brewing and a note on the counter. The coffee pot was cold. There was no note. Instead, on the polished wood of their dining table, sat his wedding ring and his house key. That was it. No angry letter, no voicemails, no desperate texts. Just a silent, empty space where he used to be. Panic seized her. She called his phone. It went straight to voicemail. She called his work. They said he'd taken an indefinite leave of absence. She called his best friend, who simply said, "He's gone, Clara. He needed to go." The silence was deafening. It was a void, a complete and total absence of the man who had been the most constant presence in her life. The man she thought would chase her to the ends of the earth hadn't even bothered to say goodbye. In that crushing silence, Clara's world began to crumble. The first person she called wasn't a friend or family member, it was Julian. She needed a distraction, an affirmation that she was still desirable. "He left me," she said, her voice trembling. Julian's response was cool and distant. "Oh, wow, that's tough. Listen, I'm swamped right now. Can I call you back?" He never did. The man who represented excitement and escape wanted nothing to do with her reality, with her mess. The spark she had chased was nothing more than a flicker, extinguished the moment real life got in the way. The days that followed were a blur of confusion and dawning horror. Every corner of the house screamed of Liam. The sturdy bookshelf he built, the garden he so lovingly tended, the loose step he was meant to fix that weekend. These weren't just objects. They were monuments to his love, a love she had casually discarded. Her friends, the ones who had subtly mocked good old Liam, were now full of pity and cliches. "You'll be better off," they said. "You deserve some excitement." But Clara knew the truth. She hadn't been trapped. She had been cherished. It was the little things that broke her. Reaching for his side of the bed in the middle of the night. Making too much coffee in the morning. Seeing a funny meme she wanted to send him before remembering she couldn't. She realized that Liam wasn't just her husband. He was her home. He was the quiet comfort, the unwavering support, the steady hand she had so carelessly pushed away. She had traded a mountain for a handful of dust. She had gambled with a king and was left with a joker. Clara had always believed that if she pushed him away, he would fight for her. He would chase her, profess his undying love, and beg her to come back. She had built a fantasy in her head where she was the prize to be won. The reality was far more brutal. Liam hadn't played her game. He hadn't fought, or begged, or chased. He had simply respected himself enough to walk away from someone who didn't respect him. His silence wasn't a tactic. It was a statement. It said, "I am done." He didn't need to shout to be heard. His absence was the loudest sound she had ever known. Clara's story is a stark reminder that no one's love is unconditional, and no one's patience is infinite. The quiet, steady love is often the strongest, but it is not unbreakable. Taking someone for granted is a slow, silent poison that can kill even the deepest connection. She thought he would chase her forever, but he chose to chase his own peace instead. And in the end, she was the one left chasing ghosts in an empty house, haunted by the silence of a man who simply walked